Betting on Yourself, the radical journey to inspired mojo. Welcome to the BlackCEO podcast, where we explore the extraordinary journeys of individuals who've dared to dream big and bet on themselves. Today, we're diving into a transformative story that will challenge your perspective on life, career, and personal growth. I had the incredible opportunity to interview Dr. Denise Mose, a remarkable individual whose insights and experiences are not just inspiring, they're revolutionary. Dr. Mose is more than just an accomplished academic. She's a beacon of hope for those seeking to reinvent themselves and make a lasting impact on the world. Her journey from a dissatisfied college professor to a global citizen and change maker is a testament to the power of taking bold risks and embracing radical change. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on an adventure that might just change the course of your life. Have you ever felt like you're sleepwalking through your own existence? Like you're just going through the motions day after day, wondering if there's something more out there for you? Well, my friends, it's time to wake up, because today we're going to explore how drastic changes can catapult you into a journey of positive self-discovery, and how betting on yourself can lead to outcomes so extraordinary they'll make your head spin. Let's start with a question that might make you squirm in your seat a little. When was the last time you did something that truly scared you? Something that pushed you so far out of your comfort zone that you could practically hear the bubble wrap popping? For many of us, the answer is not recently enough. We get comfortable in our routines, our jobs, our lives, and we forget that growth often happens in the spaces that make us uncomfortable. But here's the kicker. That discomfort, it's not your enemy. It's your ticket to transformation. Dr. Moses' journey is a testament to this truth. Imagine this. You're a college professor, settled in your career, but feeling a gnawing sense of dissatisfaction. The spark that once ignited your passion for teaching has dimmed, and you're left wondering, is this all there is? This was Dr. Moses' reality, a crossroads many of us face at some point in our lives. But here's where her story takes an unexpected, jaw-dropping turn. Instead of resigning herself to a life of quiet discontent, Dr. Mose made a decision that would alter the course of her life forever. She packed her bags and moved to China for 2 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. China for 2 years? That's insane. And you're right, it is a bit insane. But sometimes it's the insane decisions that lead to the most profound transformations. Let's pause for a moment and really let that sink in. Imagine the courage it takes to uproot your entire life, leave behind everything familiar, and plunge headfirst into the unknown. It's not just about changing your address. It's about fundamentally challenging everything you thought you knew about yourself and the world. Dr. Moses' experience in China wasn't just a change of scenery, it was a complete paradigm shift. She immersed herself in a new culture, faced language barriers that made even the simplest tasks feel like climbing Mount Everest, navigated unfamiliar social norms that turned every interaction into a potential faux pas, and in the process, rediscovered herself. It's like she pressed the reset button on her life and came back with a fresh perspective and renewed energy that was almost palpable. Now, I'm not saying you need to move to China to find inspiration, although, hey, if that's what calls to you, go for it. The point is, sometimes we need to shake things up dramatically to break free from the ruts we find ourselves in. It's about having the audacity to bet on yourself, to trust that you have more potential than you've tapped into so far. But here's the real magic of Dr. Moses' story. When she returned to the USA, she didn't just come back with souvenirs and photos. She came back with what she calls inspired mojo. Now, that's a phrase I want you to tattoo on your brain, inspired mojo. It's that magical combination of motivation, confidence, and purpose that makes you feel like you can conquer the world, solve global warming, and make a perfect souffle all before breakfast. So, what exactly is this inspired mojo, and how can we get some of it for ourselves? Well, it starts with a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about recognizing that you are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. It's about embracing the unknown and seeing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to avoid. It's about looking fear in the eye and saying, nice try, but I've got bigger fish to fry. Dr. Moses' experience teaches us that sometimes the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in something entirely new. It's counterintuitive, right? We often think that to succeed, we need to focus, specialize, and stay the course. But what if the opposite is true?
What if broadening our horizons and stepping into unfamiliar territory is exactly what we need to unlock our full potential? Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good, but I can't just up and leave my life for 2 years. And you're right, not everyone can. But here's the thing, the principle remains the same, regardless of the scale. Maybe for you, it's taking an online course in a subject you've always been curious about. Perhaps it's volunteering for a cause you're passionate about, or starting that side hustle you've been dreaming of. The key is to do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone and challenges your assumptions about what you're capable of. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is often the biggest obstacle standing between us and our dreams. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. But here's the secret that successful people know. Fear is often a compass pointing towards growth. If something scares you a little or a lot, it's probably worth doing. Dr. Mose's decision to move to China was undoubtedly scary. Can you imagine the doubts that must have crossed her mind? What if I can't adapt? What if I fail? What if this is a huge mistake? But she chose to see these fears not as warning signs, but as indicators that she was on the right path. She understood that growth and comfort rarely coexist. In fact, they're like oil and water. They just don't mix. Now let's break down this idea of betting on yourself. It's not about blind optimism or reckless abandon. It's about recognizing your own worth and potential and being willing to invest in yourself. It's about having the courage to say, I believe in myself enough to take this risk. It's about looking at your life as a high stakes poker game and pushing all your chips to the center of the table, knowing that the potential payoff is worth the risk. When Dr. Mose bet on herself by moving to China, she was essentially saying, I trust that this experience will enrich my life in ways I can't even imagine right now. And guess what? She was right. The dividends of that bet continue to pay off in her personal and professional life. It's like she hit the jackpot, but instead of money, she won a new perspective, a renewed sense of purpose, and a level of confidence that money can't buy. But here's the thing about betting on yourself. It's not a one-time event. It's a mindset, a way of approaching life. It's about consistently choosing growth over stagnation, challenge over comfort, possibility over limitation. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle that the more you work it, the stronger it gets. Now, I want to address something important. When we talk about making drastic changes or taking big risks, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking it's all or nothing, but that's not the case at all. Personal growth and self discovery happen on a spectrum. The key is to start where you are and push yourself just a little bit further. Maybe you're not ready to move to a foreign country for 2 years. That's okay. Start smaller. Take a weekend trip to a place you've never been. Sign up for a class that intimidates you a little. Strike up a conversation with someone you normally wouldn't. These small acts of courage add up over time, building your confidence and expanding your sense of what's possible. It's like compound interest for your personal growth. Small, consistent investments can lead to massive returns over time. Let's talk about the power of perspective for a moment. One of the most valuable things Dr. Mose gained from her time in China was a new way of looking at the world and herself. When you immerse yourself in a different culture, you're forced to question your assumptions and see things from new angles. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. Think about it. How often do we get stuck in our own little bubbles, surrounded by people who think like us, live like us, and share our worldview? It's comfortable, sure, but it's also limiting. It's like living in a house with no windows. You might feel safe, but you're missing out on the entire world outside. By exposing herself to a radically different environment, Dr. Mose was able to see her life, her career, and her potential in a whole new light. This brings us to an important point: the value of diverse experiences. In today's world, there's a lot of pressure to specialize, to find your niche and stick to it. And while there's certainly value in developing expertise, there's also immense power in being a generalist, in having a broad range of experiences to draw from. Dr. Moses' journey from college professor to expat in China and back again gave her a unique set of skills and perspectives that she might never have developed if she'd stayed on a more traditional path. It's this diversity of experience that often leads to the most innovative ideas and solutions. It's like having a Swiss Army knife instead of a single purpose tool. You're prepared for a wider range of situations. So I want to challenge you to think about how you can diversify your experiences. How can you step outside your usual routine and expose yourself to new ideas, new people, new ways of thinking? Remember, every new experience is an opportunity for growth and self discovery. It's like adding a new color to your palette. Suddenly, you can create paintings you never could before. Now, Let's talk about resilience, because let's be real. When you're betting on yourself and taking risks, things won't always go smoothly. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, times when you wonder if you've made a huge mistake. Dr. Mose undoubtedly had moments like these during her time in China. Moments when the language barrier felt insurmountable, when homesickness hit hard, when cultural differences led to misunderstandings and frustrations. But here's the thing: resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties, it's about learning how to bounce back from them. It's about developing the mental toughness to keep going even when things get tough. And the only way to build resilience is to put yourself in situations that challenge you. It's like building calluses on your hands. They only develop through repeated friction and pressure. Think of it like building muscle. You don't get stronger by lifting weights that are easy for you. You get stronger by pushing yourself to lift weights that are just a little bit heavier than you're comfortable with. The same principle applies to personal growth. By consistently pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you build the resilience and adaptability that will serve you well in all areas of your life. Let's circle back to this idea of inspired mojo that Dr. Mose came back with after her time in China. What exactly does that look like in practice? Well, it's about approaching life with a sense of curiosity and enthusiasm. It's about waking up each day excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. It's about having the confidence to take on new challenges and the wisdom to learn from both successes and failures. Imagine waking up every morning with a fire in your belly, eager to tackle whatever the day throws at you. Imagine facing challenges, not with dread, but with excitement, seeing them as opportunities to grow and prove yourself. Imagine having the confidence to speak up in meetings, to pitch that innovative idea, to ask for that promotion you know you deserve. That's what Inspired Mojo looks like in action. But here's the really exciting part: Inspired Mojo is contagious. When you're operating from a place of inspiration and enthusiasm, it rubs off on the people around you. You become a catalyst for positive change, not just in your own life, but in the lives of others as well. It's like being a human spark plug, igniting passion and motivation in everyone you encounter. So, how can you cultivate your own inspired mojo? It starts with being intentional about your growth. Set ambitious goals for yourself, not just in your career, but in all areas of your life. Seek out new experiences, even especially ones that scare you a little. Surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. It's like creating a personal board of directors for your life. Choose wisely, because these people will have a profound impact on your trajectory. And perhaps most importantly, practice gratitude. Take time each day to appreciate how far you've come and the opportunities you have ahead of you. Gratitude is like fuel for your inspired mojo. The more you practice it, the more energized and motivated you'll feel. It's like putting premium gasoline in your car. You'll run smoother, faster, and more efficiently. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but I have responsibilities. I can't just drop everything and go on an adventure. And you're absolutely right. We all have commitments and obligations that we need to honor: bills to pay, families to support, deadlines to meet. But here's the thing: betting on yourself doesn't mean being irresponsible. It means finding ways to grow and challenge yourself within the context of your current life. It means making the most of the opportunities you have, no matter how small they might seem. It's about being creative and resourceful in your pursuit of growth. Maybe for you, betting on yourself means waking up an hour earlier each day to work on that book you've always wanted to write. Maybe it means having that difficult conversation you've been putting off, or finally asking for that promotion you know you deserve. Maybe it's learning a new skill that could open up new career opportunities. The specifics will be different for everyone, but the principle remains the same: consistently choosing growth over comfort. Let me share another inspiring story with you. Meet Sarah, a single mother working as a customer service representative. Sarah had always dreamed of starting her own business, but between work and taking care of her kids, she barely had time to breathe, let alone pursue her entrepreneurial aspirations. But Sarah decided to bet on herself. She started small, dedicating just 30 minutes each night after her kids went to bed to learning about online marketing. She saved a little money each month to invest in her education. She networked during her lunch breaks, connecting with other aspiring entrepreneurs. It wasn't easy. There were nights when she was exhausted and just wanted to collapse in front of the TV. Uh, there were moments of doubt when she wondered if she was fooling herself, but she persisted. And you know what? After a year of consistent effort, Sarah launched her own online business. It started small, but it grew. 2 years later, she was able to quit her customer service job and focus on her business full time. Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that betting on yourself doesn't always mean making drastic changes overnight. It's about consistent, persistent effort in the direction of your dreams. It's about making the most of the time and resources you have, no matter how limited they might seem. Now, let's talk about the power of mindset. Your mindset is like the operating system of your brain. It determines how you interpret and respond to the world around you. And when it comes to betting on yourself, your mindset can be your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle. Dr. Carol Dweck, a renowned psychologist, talks about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe their abilities are static. They are who they are. And that's that. People with the growth mindset, on the other hand, believe that their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. When you bet on yourself, you're adopting a growth mindset. You're saying, I may not be able to do this yet, but I can learn. I can grow. I can become the person I need to be to achieve my goals. And so it's about seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow rather than as threats to your self image. Dr. Mose's decision to move to China was a perfect example of a growth mindset in action. She didn't know if she could adapt to a new culture or learn a new language, but she believed in her ability to learn and grow. And that belief became a self fulfilling prophecy. So, how can you cultivate a growth mindset? Start by becoming aware of your self talk. When you face a challenge, do you tell yourself, I can't do this? Or do you say, this is an opportunity to learn and grow? When you make a mistake, do you beat yourself up or do you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Challenge yourself to reframe negative self talk into growth oriented statements. Instead of, I'm not good at public speaking, try, I'm working on improving my public speaking skills. Instead of, I could never start my own business, try, I'm learning what it takes to start a successful business. Remember, your brain believes what you tell it. So tell it empowering, growth oriented stories. It's like being your own personal cheerleader, always there to encourage you and remind you of your potential. Now, let's talk about fear again, because let's face it, betting on yourself can be scary. It involves risk, uncertainty, the possibility of failure. But here's a perspective shift that might help. What if you started seeing fear not as a stop sign, but as a green light? Think about it. When you feel fear, it often means you're about to do something important, something that matters to you. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't be afraid. So instead of letting fear hold you back, let it propel you forward. Let it be a signal that you're on the right track, that you're pushing yourself to grow. When Dr. Mose felt fear about moving to China, she didn't let it stop her. She used it as fuel. She recognized that the presence of fear meant she was about to do something significant, something that would challenge her and help her grow. So the next time you feel fear creeping in as you consider taking a risk or betting on yourself, try this. Thank your fear. Yes, you heard me right. Thank it for showing up, for caring about you, for trying to keep you safe. And then gently let it know that you've got this, that you're choosing to grow, to expand, to become more. As we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with a powerful question, one that I hope will stick with you long after this talk is over. What would you do if you truly believed in yourself? If you knew without a doubt that you had the ability to succeed at anything you set your mind to, what would you attempt? Take a moment to really think about that. Let the possibilities wash over you. Feel the excitement, the nervousness, the potential. That feeling right there, that's your inspired mojo trying to break free. Dr. Denise Y. Moses' journey from a dissatisfied college professor to someone who found renewed purpose and energy through a bold life change is a powerful reminder of what's possible when we bet on ourselves. Her story challenges us to rethink our limitations, to see obstacles as opportunities, and to approach life with curiosity and courage. But her story is not unique. History is filled with examples of people who bet on themselves and changed the world as a result. Think of Steve Jobs, who dropped out of college to pursue his vision of personal computing, or Oprah Winfrey, who overcame a difficult childhood to become one of the most influential media personalities in the world, or Elon Musk, who invested his entire fortune into SpaceX and Tesla when both companies were on the brink of failure. These people weren't superhuman. They didn't have special powers or extraordinary luck. What they had was the courage to bet on themselves to trust in their abilities and their vision, even when others doubted them. And here's the thing, you have that same potential within you. You have dreams, ideas, and capabilities that the world needs, but those dreams will remain just that, dreams, unless you have the courage to bet on yourself and bring them into reality. So here's my challenge to you, do something today that scares you a little. Take a small step outside your comfort zone. Start a conversation with that person you've always wanted to connect with. Sign up for that class you've been eyeing. Make that phone call you've been putting off. Whatever it is, do something that stretches you. Remember, every great adventure starts with a single step. Your step might not be moving to China for 2 years, but it can be equally transformative in its own way. The key is to start, to take that first step towards the person you want to become. As you leave here today, I want you to carry with you this fundamental truth. You are capable of so much more than you know. Your potential is limitless. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the belief that you can achieve them. So go out there and bet on yourself. Embrace change. Seek out new experiences. Challenge your assumptions. And most importantly, believe in your ability to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. The world is waiting for you to step up, to bring your unique gifts and perspective to the table. It's waiting for you to bet on yourself. Because when you bet on yourself, you're not just changing your own life, you're changing the world. Remember, your inspired mojo is waiting for you. All you have to do is have the courage to claim it. It's time to take that leap, to bet on yourself, and to create a life that fills you with passion, purpose, and endless possibilities. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The biggest risk in life is not taking any risks at all. The biggest bet you can make is on yourself. And the biggest regret you can have is not having the courage to try. It's your move. What will you bet on yourself to achieve? The world is waiting. Your inspired mojo is calling. It's time to answer. Thank you.